धव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे कलयुग में नाम संकीर्तन की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। So I'll speak in Hindi or English? English. Okay. Please recite after me. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा। So I'm very grateful to be here with all of you. So how long I have to speak? Till what time? Till what time I have to speak? It's 7:15, 7:20, 8:15. So I have less than 1 hour. Okay. So I was about to take some other topic, but Radhesham Prabhu has instructed me to cover the topic that I have discussed in the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Am I audible backside? Am I audible? So, okay. So, how many of you have not heard name of Chanakya? Anyone of you who has not heard the name of Chanakya? No one. Okay, everybody has heard. So, what Chanakya is famous for? Politics. Okay, politics, economics. Okay, strategy building. Yes. Business. You can rotate your camera, like we can see who all are giving what all answers accordingly. Yes. Arthashastra. What is Arthashastra? Artha means anything of value. Anything which has value is called Artha. So Arthashastra does not specifically mean economics. It means anything that is of value. There are 4 Arthas. Purushartha. Purushartha means Purush means a human being. Artha means which is valuable or which has some meaning. So for a human being, 4 Purusharthas has been suggested. What are that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma. So when someone performs dharma, the result of performing dharma is artha. Now my question is, there are people, those who do not perform any dharma, but still they have artha. Huh? Yes? Because they have performed dharma in the previous life, okay, that is the karma that they are getting, okay, fine. It is anartha. There are people, like sometimes, okay, I don't know whether in South India this Lakshmi Puja is famous. Okay. Because in North India, Deepavali means Lakshmi Puja. South India also? Or specific? Huh? Akshay Tritiya. Okay. So everyone worships Lakshmi. For what? For Lakshmi. We worship Lakshmi for Lakshmi. Now there are people, those who do not worship Lakshmi. Now somebody may say that in America they do not worship Lakshmi, but still they are very opulent. How? Okay, so Not Lakshmi as Lakshmi Devi, but Lakshmi as something else. This question many times people ask, especially atheists. They ask, "You recommend Lakshmi Puja for Lakshmi's blessings, but then there are people who do not worship Lakshmi, but they are still very rich." The answer is very simple. Uh, the blessings of Lakshmi does not simply mean bank balance. It also means prosperity. It means peace of mind, happiness, good relationship. So yes, somebody may have uh, some amount in their banks, but are they really having that peace of mind that they're looking for? Hardly anyone. So real benediction of Lakshmi means the combined uh, bank balance, happy home, good relationships, peaceful mind, blissful life, everything. That is what actually the mercy of Lakshmi Devi means. But Chanakya Pandit many times has suggested that one must acquire Artha, Lakshmi, Dhan, with honest means and not with dishonest means. So why? Then Chanakya himself gives the answer. He says, if you will acquire Lakshmi or wealth with dishonest means, it will stay with you for 10 years. And in the 11th year, you'll have to pay it back with interest. Actually, compound interest. You can enjoy wealth that is earned with illegal means, but how long you can enjoy? For 10 years. And in the 11th year, you have to give it back with compound interest. And to whom you will have to give it back? Either you have to give it back to a black coat or a white coat. Black coat is lawyer and white coat is doctor. You heard this famous one Nitikar has said, Yamaraja, what is that? Vaidyaraja Namastubhyam Yamaraja Sahodara. We offer our respectful obeisances to Dr. Vaidyaraj Namastubhyam. And who are you? Yamaraja Sahodara. Sa Udara. Udara means womb. That means you are real brother, not cousin. You are not a cousin of Yamaraj. You are real brother of Yamaraj. Okay, real brother. Elder or younger? Oh, doctor, you are real brother of Yamraj. Now you tell me whether he is elder brother or younger brother. How many of you say younger brother? Oh, how many of you say elder brother? Why elder brother? Huh? See, Nitikar is saying that doctor is elder brother of Yamraj. Why? Because Yamraj only takes life. Yamraj only takes life. But doctor takes wealth and then takes double. So therefore, doctor is considered to be the elder brother of Yamraj. So by illegal means, one may acquire money, but he can enjoy it for just 10 years. 11th year he has to pay back. So so Chanakya Niti. Niti means, see, we are reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. The purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita is to evoke our Krishna consciousness. Because the underlying phenomena is that material world is temporary, it is full of frustration, full of anxiety. An intelligent person should take shelter of the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the underlying principle of reading all these devotional literature. But then till the time we are within the material world, how to live in this material world so that, smartly living in this material world. Living in the material world and not getting contaminated by its contamination. So for that, different Nitikaras have given different Nitis, moral instructions, and they are very, very practical to follow. Can somebody quote some of the Nitis, if you know? Vidur Niti, Shukra Niti, Chanakya Niti, Shandilya Niti. You have heard the name of King Bhartuhari? What he has written? Huh? Vairagya Shatkam. So you all know the story. Bhartuhari is brother of King Vikramaditya, Ujjain. So how Bhartuhari left his kingdom and become a mendicant, and then he gave up his kingdom and he gave his kingdom to his brother Vikramaditya. A very famous story. You must have heard it. That one sage came to the court of King Bhartuhari and gave him an apple and said, "My dear king, this apple is very special apple. We have produced it from Yagya, and whoever will eat this apple will always remain youthful, full of energy, full of aura. So you should consume this apple." So king thought that why should I consume this apple? Why not? I should give this apple to my wife. She's very dear to me. So Bhartuhari gave that apple to his wife Pingla, and Pingla was in love affair with a horse, this chariot driver, Ghodewala. Pingla gave that apple to Ghodewala, but this Ghodewala was in love affair with some prostitute. So he gave that apple to that prostitute, and prostitute thought, "What I'll do with this apple? I am doing such a sinful activity. Rather, our king is so religious. I must offer this apple to our king." So she offered that apple to the king. King said, "Oh my God, this is the same apple." So nowadays you must have seen that apple is coming with a sticker. You have seen directly from Himalaya it is coming with sticker. So otherwise, how he would have recognized that it's the same apple, because apple looks alike. So there must be some kind of sticker of yagya ke dwara, like sanctified apple. So king got to know that this is the same apple that that sage gave to me. And then king became like, earlier he wrote one shatakam called Shringar Shatakam, like glorifying the beauty of Pingla. But after this apple came in that circle, yeah, I was giving a class where I said love triangle. So someone said, "Not true, it was not love triangle, it was love hexagon." Like this. घूम के आ गया. So King Vikram, so Bhartuhari, now he got realization, "Oh my God, I was attached to this lady and this lady is attached to someone else. That someone else is attached to someone else." So this is how like Kamadev, the Cupid is actually making fool of us, full of everyone actually. And then he became detached from his material life and took like he became detached and he took sannyas and went out, and then he wrote Vairagya Shatakam. So this Vairagya Shatakam is itself a kind of a Niti Shastra, where we get so many lessons that how this material world, the attitude of people in this material world, how they're cheating and how things are temporary, and we should aspire for something permanent like this, so many. And Shukra Niti also. Shukracharya gave Niti. Do you remember somewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam where Shukracharya is giving Niti? Bali Maharaj. He's telling Bali Maharaj, what he's telling? In order to save one's life, if you will tell lie, there is no loss. Bali Maharaj, Lord Vamandev appeared into this sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. So now Bali Maharaj was completely surrendered and he wanted to surrender everything to the Lord. But Shukracharya said, "No, no, no, don't surrender everything. You don't know who he is. This person is not a Vaman, not a Daf. He's not a Brahmin. He is Lord Vishnu himself. He has disguised himself in this form. And he'll not just take 3 foot land. He'll take entire, whatever you have, he'll take everything. तो तुम रोड पे आ जाओगे." And actually why Shukracharya was concerned? One reason was that Bali was his disciple, he was concerned. Another reason is, agar Bali road pe aa jayega, Bali will come on road, then how he will get his salary? So he was more concerned about his salary as well. Therefore he's saying, "Okay, Bali, you don't surrender everything." Now Bali told, "My dear Gurudev, you do Archana. In Archan we assume Lord come accept our offering. Through mantras we do that. But here Lord is coming personally. So what we should do? We should sacrifice everything. So I will sacrifice everything." But then Shukracharya started telling his nitis. And who is Shukracharya? Shukracharya is not an ordinary person. He is one of the Lord's Vibhuti itself. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ushna, amongst the Jnani I am Ushna Kavi, means I am this Shukracharya. Shukracharya is Vibhuti of the Lord. so intelligent. But then Shukracharya is giving this niti, Shukra niti. Similarly, sometimes Lord Krishna has, like Lord Vishnu has given told nitis to the um, Devatas. Where before this Samudra Manthan, what niti he told? Like why to make friendship? They're in a stronger position as of now to make. Just like I exactly do not remember that particular analogy where he says that uh, like snake and in if yeah yeah enemy of your enemy is your friend. No, particular analogy is, so for example, there was a snake and then there was a mouse in a box, somehow in a cage kind of, they got trapped. So then snake made friendship with mouse, and what he told, you make hole for me, for us, we'll both go out. So what mouse did, he made a hole, and then what snake did, hit the mouse, went out of the hole. So similarly you make friendship with demons to get your purpose fulfilled. This niti is told by Lord Vishnu to the demigods. So we can see in different. There is one more niti where it is said that, like Shukracharya is saying somewhere in, I think same in that place, that on in which all places you can tell lie to save your life, to save someone else's life. For marriage you can tell lie. You're getting 40,000 rupees salary, you tell 60,000 rupees, fine. तो चलता है, that it's not an offense for getting married. Sometimes age manipulation, this that one has to do, because otherwise आजकल लड़की मिलना मुश्किल है, सबको पता है. So there are different nitis to sustain in this world. So different nitikaras have given different nitis, okay, how to sustain in this world. So similarly, Chanakya is one of the nitikar and very favorite of Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is quoting Chanakya many times. So we know Chanakya's one face, that Chanakya is a nitikar, Chanakya is a politician, he is the guru of Chandragupta Maurya, because in Srimad Bhagavatam it is predicted. You must have seen this particular verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, first chapter. The 12th canto, first chapter, entitled The Degraded Dynasties of Kali Yuga. So their prediction of Chanakya is already made. That certain Brahmana will betray the trust of King Nanda. You must have heard his name, Nanda, Dhanananda, Dhananand, Nand, Dhananand. In television this was Dhananand. And then he will destroy their dynasty, and in their absence, Mauryas will rule the world as age of Kali continues. This prophecy has been made 2,500 years before Chanakya appeared. So this name Maurya Bhokshanti Vaikalau. And then this Brahmana will enthrone Chandragupta. The name of king is also mentioned, Chandragupta, whose son will be Varisara. And Varisara's son will be Ashokavardhana. And we all have heard name of Ashok. In the next slok it is mentioned that Ashok's son will be, and they'll go out to the southeastern countries and preach Buddhism. So this is history, and Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the prophecy as well. And this Varisara, Bindusara, its other name is Bindusara. So in the morning I was telling like how he got this name Bindusara. So Chanakya, he was very special. Like he knew in politics it happens. The other kings may give poison to Chandragupta. So right from his training period, कहाँ पे कैसे करना है, कहाँ से होगा, here, this one. Okay, yeah. So when Chanakya was training Chandragupta, so he used to give a very little amount. He used to put very little amount of poison in his food. so that Chandragupta will become prone, like he's become accustomed to eating poison, adapted to that poison. And every day he used to increase little amount of dose. So one day, when of course when Chandragupta became the king, many years has passed, like, and every time the quantity and the dose of that poison was increased. So one day, wife of Chandragupta unknowingly she partook the food that was offered to Chandragupta, and she wasn't aware that there is poison, and immediately the poison reacted into her body, and at that time she was pregnant. And Chanakya could understand that there is no way that she could be saved because the poison was deadly. And because she was pregnant, so she has to be, like, the child has to be delivered. So Chandragupta, like Chanakya himself, performed the surgery, brought out that baby. And because of that, some amount of poison has touched the baby's body. There were certain spots, and he was named Bindusar. And this concept of Vishakanya, you must have heard Vishakanya. Right from childhood, that these kanyas were these girls were given little amount of poison, and then they were married to certain kings, or they go out like in, they make relationship with king, and they kill the king, because in the same thali, in the same plate, king will also eat, and that girl will also eat. Girl King will offer his food to girl, and girl will offer her food to king, and there is poison, but the girls are already accustomed to the poison. King will die, and that is how they used to do in earlier time. Even today also we see this, how our prime minister Lal Bahadur Shastri was killed. He was given poison. So this all things happen earlier also. Anyway, so Chandragupta, this Chanakya was expert in all these things. So we know this face of this side of Chanakya, that he is a politician. He was after Akhanda Bharat. He was guru of Chandragupta. He was an Arthashastri. He trained Vishakanyas, etc., etc. But then another phase of Chanakya that we are unaware of is that Chanakya is a Vishnu Bhakta. The question arises: Chanakya is a Vishnu Bhakta. That this type of Chanakya we see everywhere with Tripund, not with Urdhapund. Anywhere you'll see, especially in railway station, you'll find Chanakya Niti. There are those dirty pages, Chanakya Niti. Yeah? And this corporate Chanakya, you must have heard these books, corporate Chanakya. These books are becoming very famous nowadays. To take motivation from the ancient literature, kind of. So we always see this kind of Chanakya with Tripunda. We hardly see this type of Chanakya. So this is ISKCON's version of Chanakya. Bhakti Vikas Trust has published Chanakya Niti. So this is the back, like, front cover. So what's the difference? How, like, this and this? Here they're not very clear that Chanakya, from which background he is coming, but we are very clear that Chanakya is a Vaishnava. Why we are clear? Because I'll just let you know. So for example, this common mistake comes with Yamraj also. Most of the time they make Yamraj like this. You seen this Yamraj? Hum hai yam. Yam hai hum. So you see, always see Yamraj with Tripund. But our philosophy is very clear. Yamraj is Mahajan. And where is the Praman? The sixth canto is giving the Praman. Yamraj is suggesting his dutas, messengers. किसके पास जाना है, किसके पास नहीं जाना है, where to go, where not to go. So those who have this Kantimala, those who have Tilak, those who have Japamala, those who offer their obeisances to the Lord, do not go near to them even in dream. So Yamraj has specified. And those who are not doing this, Paramhansas are exalted persons who have no taste for material enjoyment and who drink the honey of Lord's lotus feet. But my dear servants, bring to me for punishment only persons who are averse to the taste of that honey. Lord Krishna's lotus feet, because it is lotus, so it is exporting nectar. So those who are attached to that nectar are called Paramahansas. And those who are averse to that taste and they are just after material enjoyment, so Yamaraj is suggesting bring them all because they are under my jurisdiction. So that means these are the verses that is giving us the pramana that Yamaraj is a Vaishnava. So therefore, what should be the ideal tilak of Yamaraj? Urdhapunda. Few years back, we performed a drama of Yamaraj and Nachiketa. You heard the famous story of Yamaraj and Nachiketa. In Bhagavad Gita, you must have seen that photograph where horses are compared with the senses and the lagam is compared with the mind and the chariot driver is compared with the intelligence and the soul is sitting behind. So this particular section, this particular conversation is appearing Kathopanishad. And that Kathopanishad is the conversation between Nachiketa and Yamraj. So Yamraj is a Vaishnava. So once when we were doing this drama of Yamraj and Nachiketa, so as usual we sent our students for getting makeup. There is one Chitralaya where they used to make up the artist. So I was about to call them that please you do not make our Yamraj as Tripundhari, you make our Yamraj as Urdhapund. But by the time I was about to call them, they were already dressed. So anyway, we had to do drama with Tripundhari Yamraj. But our understanding is very clear that Yamraj is a Vaishnava. But where is the proof that Chanakya is a Vaishnava? Huh? So from that book, this book, uh, Chanakya Niti by Bhakti Vikas Trust, they have published that. Not very costly books. Prabhu was telling that I have done some research. It's not coming. Please check it out. So, like Prabhu was telling, I have done some research. I haven't done any research. All the shlokas were in the book. I've simply collected them. That's all. Yeah. So I have selected the verses from Chanakya Niti that shows that Chanakya is a Vaishnava. Maybe not a pure devotee, but Prabhupada is writing that he is a mixed devotee. He's not a pure devotee. He's not any Sampradaya Acharya or something like that. But then Chanakya's devotional temperament is visible from his shlokas. So we'll see around 10-15 shlokas where you can find out how Chanakya is a Vaishnava. So starting from the first verse of Chanakya Niti. This is first verse appearing Chanakya Niti. We can recite Pranamya Shirasa Vishnu Trailokaधिपतिं Prabhum Nana Shastramudritam Vikshe Rajaniti Samuchayam. So his starting means, saying something. Pranamya Shirasa Vishnu. First of all, I am offering my obeisances to Lord Vishnu. And who is Lord Vishnu? Trailoka Adhimpati. He's the Adhipati of, he's the owner of Trailokya. He's the Prabhum, he's the master. And Nana Shastra Udratam Bakshe. And like I am like just in Goswami's case, Nana Shastra Vicharanaik Nipunau Sadharma Sanstapakau. So after consulting Nana Shastra, they are establishing pure devotional service. Similarly, after consulting all different scriptures, Chanakya is Rajniti Samuchayam. Now I recite maxims selected from various shastras pertaining to political ethics. Okay. Adhityedam yatha shastram naro janati sattamaha dharmopodesha vikhyatam karya shubha shubham. This verse, a similar verse appears in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 last shloka. Tasmat shastra pramanam te karya akarya vivastitau. From scriptures we need to understand what has to be done and what not has to be done, what has to be accepted and what has to be rejected. So Chanakya is saying a person who is most excellent through a study of these scriptural precepts obtained from various shastra acquires an understanding of these principles of dharma and thereby understand what is to be followed and what is not to be followed. Karya, what has to be done, what not has to be done. Shubha, Shubham, what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. So now there are different themes. Like Chanakya is covering different themes. The first theme that Chanakya is covering is surrender to the spiritual master. We can recite. पुस्तका प्रत्ययाधीतम नाधीतम गुरु सन्निधौ सभा मध्ये न शोभन्ते जार गर्भाइव स्त्रिया. There are many people, like many scholars, what they do, so they read different scriptures. You must have seen now a few days where Rahul Arya was requesting a debate, not requesting, he was actually challenging Amok Lila Prabhu to have a debate with him. So from where Rahul Arya has acquired knowledge? Not even scriptures. When I told that this particular verse, and then I connected with Rahul Arya, students, some of my students were telling, Prabhu, he is not even a scholar. What to say of? But anyway, what they do is, few months back, I saw one Muslim scholar. So what he did, his understanding was very genuine, that he wanted to understand Vedas, he wanted to understand scriptures. But the problem is, they go to market, they purchase certain scriptures, they have some knowledge of Sanskrit, and they start understanding. We all have this example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvam Bhattacharya. Atma Ramasya Munyo Nirgantha Purkrame. How many translations Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 64 translations. Not even touching single translation done by Sarvam Bhattacharya. So that means one verse can be interpreted in at least 64 ways. So one who has knowledge of Sanskrit, is he competent enough to understand scriptures? And there, like it is said that Sanskrit language, it's not just about language, it's about the culture that language is coming from. So for example, in our culture, we know what is prasad. What is prasad? Remnant is not the right word for prasad actually. Because remnant means leftover. Leftover must be impure. But prasadam is most pure. But unfortunately in English culture, there is no concept of prasadam. Because that culture is not there, they do not know what that something is, food is offered to the Lord, and Lord put his Lord accept that with his merciful glance, and then it becomes prasadam. So because they do not have this culture, so unfortunately Prabhupada had to translate prasadam as remnant. But otherwise, remnant is not the right word for prasadam. If somebody is not backed up with the culture, he will not be able to understand what this particular Sanskrit verse is telling. Like demigods. These are the words coined by Srila Prabhupada. 3 modes of material nature. Mode. Now in Sanskrit we call Prakriti ke 3 gun. You translate gun into English, quality. That is not the right word. Another meaning of the word guna is rope. But what kind of rope? Now rope is visible. You can see a rope. Lord Damodar is bound up with a rope. So we can see that rope. But guna is a kind of rope which is invisible. But it is binding the conditioned soul. Condition means we are bound up, conditioned by the invisible ropes. But these are invisible ropes. You cannot see. So you cannot translate mode as rope, guna as rope. You cannot translate it as quality. Then Prabhupada has to coin a new word, mode. You can see like this, because there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is said, Kripa Gunerya Ku Grihanda Kupat Udrita Bhangya Raghunatha Dasam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has Kripa Guner. Here Guna means rope. Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Das was drowning in the ocean of material existence in a dark well, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rescued him with his rope of mercy. But here the word rope of mercy, can you see it? No, we cannot see it. Therefore, it is Guna. The word Guna means invisible rope. But because there is no English for it, Prabhupada is using the word mode. So there are different. So His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj used to say that Prabhupada has actually shown mercy to this Malay Bhasha. It is Srila Prabhupada who has shown mercy to English, because there was there was no religious literature in English. Even Bible was in Hebrew, not in English. It is Srila Prabhupada's mercy that he has translated this literature into English language. So shown mercy to this Malay Bhasha. Otherwise, it was Malay Bhasha. And we can just consider Sanskrit. What is the phonetic arrangement? Ka, kha, ga, gha, ta, tha, da, dha, na, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Lips, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Teeth and tongue, ta, tha, da, dha, na. This throat, ka, kha, ga, gha. Just see the scientific arrangement, phonetic arrangement of Sanskrit language, or the languages deriving from Sanskrit. In English, A, B, C, no arrangement. Then not only this, BUT, but, PUT, put. No rule. If BUT is but, so PUT must be put. But it's put. You cannot do anything. You know who is the official English teacher of entire India? Shashi Tharoor. He is the official English teacher of entire India. So I wasn't knowing, like, so he was giving some interview. You know, I don't know, like, actually we have learned English after coming to ISKCON. At least I have learned English after coming to ISKCON. For 15 years I was in convent school, but no profit. Only coming to ISKCON we learned English. How many of you are like me, coming to like learning English after ISKCON? At least that was situation with us. My English was so poor. Once I had some pain in my chest. I went to my teacher, said, "Man, my heart is paining." The teacher said, "Beta, ऐसा नहीं कहते." We used to have one chapter written by Khushwant Singh. So there he said, my mother used to give me stale chapatis. My grandmother used to give me stale chapatis. I wasn't knowing what is the meaning of stale. I wrote in my exam answer, his grandmother used to prepare stale chapatis. Teacher said, "Beta, ye kya hai?" Anyway, so we learned English after coming to ISKCON. So what is this? No, there is a disease, asthma. It is not asthma. What is the real right pronunciation? Asthma. Now, nobody can ascertain the spelling of asthma, and pronunciation, no combination at all. But Sanskrit, everything is very specific. Just one root, and with that single root, you can make different number of words. Vidushi, Vidyalaya, Vidyarthi, Ved, Vidwan, all coming from the same root Vid. Bharat, Bhanu, Bhaskar, Bhaswan. That means Bharat. Bha means Prakash, light. Rat means jo laga hua hai, one who is engaged in enlightening the entire world with knowledge. Bharat. Whereas the word India means red Indians, black Indians. Indians means das, servants, not even slaves. The word Indian means the Britisher coined this word India for India. Why? Slaves. So when we say we are Indians, that means what we are saying? We are slaves. When we are saying we are Bharatiya, that means we are gurus. And what is our task? To enlighten the entire world with knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And therefore, when this G20 summit, it is written Bharat. So now that is the pride moment for us, Bharat. Because the word itself means we are guru. And the word India itself means we are slaves. So anyway, so this Sanskrit word, so I was telling that simply by reading the translation, reading or simply by knowing some grammar, you cannot translate the scriptures. So therefore it is said that pustaka pratyadhitam. If somebody is reading, just try to acquire knowledge with books. Na adhitam guru sannidhav. It is not being trained under spiritual master. Sabha madhye na shobhante. This kind of person does not shine in an assembly of learned men. Just like Jara Garba Ivastriya. Just as the mother of illegitimate children is not honored in the society. And practical application of this shloka is, there are many Sanskrit scholars. They are well versed with Nyaya, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Yoga, etc. So in their classroom, they can speak hours and hours on philosophy. But when they come out of their classroom, they start to smoke. That means their own philosophy is not working upon them. Because they have learned, they have bookish knowledge. They have, but the knowledge has not yet transformed into realization. Because knowledge will transform into realization only through surrender to the bona fide spiritual master. And because simply they have bookish knowledge, it's not working upon them. But in ISKCON we see, even if somebody is coming for 2-3 months, he gives up all his bad habits. Or at least he is aware that he has certain bad habits and he has to conquer them. Why? Because they are deriving knowledge not just from books, but from realized souls. So Chanakya is saying that just bookish knowledge is not sufficient. One has to surrender to the bona fide spiritual master. Next. Ekam api aksharam yastu Guru Shishyam Prabodayet Prithvim Nasti Tadravyam Jaddatva Swarni Bhavet. So somebody may ask, can we repay the depth of spiritual master? If someone has taught us even a single syllable, Chanakya is saying there is no treasure in this world that you can give that treasure to the spiritual master, to the guru who has taught you even one syllable, and you can say, okay, now I am free from debt. No, not possible. So this is how Chanakya is covering different themes. Now we are discussing the theme of Guru Bhakti. There is a similar, in the morning I was telling this. In North India, this Kabir is very famous. How many of you know Kabir? Okay. South India also is famous? Kabir ke dohe? Okay. So Kabir is saying very beautiful doha. We can recite. यह तन विष की बेलरी गुरु अमृत की खान शीश दियो जो गुरु मिले तो भी सस्ता जान. So this body is made up of all nonsense things. The body is made up of, it's a bag full of all bad things. But Guru is compared with the Amrit ki Khan. Khan means mine of nectar. And Sheesh diyo jo Guru mile. Even after cutting your head and you're offering and then you're getting a Guru, still you have acquired Guru in very less price. After cutting your head or offering it and then you're getting a Guru, that means still you should consider that it's a good deal. बहुत डिस्काउंट रेट पे मिल गया. मिलना नहीं था लेकिन डिस्काउंट रेट पे मिल गया. शीश दियो जो गुरु मिले तो भी सस्ता जान. Then Chanakya is suggesting how we can, like we know that Guru is doing lot of penances, lot of austerity. He has studied lot of many scriptures. So how we can get the realized knowledge of Guru without much endeavor. Because we know that we cannot perform so much austerity, we cannot perform so much penances, we cannot read so many scriptures, because we are very much limited, we have limited time, limited energy, and we are conditioned by so many things. But is there any shortcut that we can get the realized knowledge of the Guru? Yes, and the shortcut is Khanitva hi khanitrena bhutale vari vindati tatha guru gatam vidya shrushu shuradigachati. So just as he who digs with shovel obtains underground water, so the student through his service to the spiritual master acquires realized knowledge of his Guru. Here's the secret. If you cannot read so many scriptures, if you cannot do so many penances and austerities, if one thing we can do is, we can wholeheartedly serve the spiritual master, follow their instructions, the result will be, we can get the realized knowledge of spiritual master. Here's the secret. His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj writes in his book that Srila Prabhupada has suggested us to chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulatory principles. Now, do you think the 16 rounds and 4 regulatory principles are sufficient to go back home, back to Godhead? How many say it is sufficient? How many say it is not sufficient? Actually, the thing is that you cannot ascertain, okay, I'll do this much and I'll go back home, back to Godhead. Can you? If I'll rotate agarbatti 3 times this way, 3 times this way, and Krishna will become pleased, can you do like that? No. So there is no set formula. But then why Srila Prabhupada is suggesting you chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulatory principles, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. Actually, the underlying principle, you do this, you do your homework, then I will catch your hand and take you back home, back to Godhead. So that means you follow what I am telling, and then it is up to me how because I have the, Prabhupada used to say, backdoor key. I'll take you. The example that Bhaktitirth Maharaj quoted in his book, Maharaj has written this Harinam Chintamani, Reflections on Harinam Chintamani. So, a very beautiful example he quotes. He says that, say for example, in a village, so there is flood. So now, if there is flood, so you cannot go, you do not have any option what to do. So the government is announcing, you somehow reach to the helipad, and there the helicopter will come and will rescue you. So your duty is to somehow or other reach to the helipad, and then government will send helicopter and you will be rescued. So 16 rounds and 4 regulatory principle is reaching to the helipad, and then Prabhupada's mercy is the helicopter will take us back home, back to God. So ultimately, it's not that 16 rounds and 4 regulatory principles is taking us back home, back to Godhead. It is Srila Prabhupada's mercy that is taking us back home, back to Godhead. But when Srila Prabhupada is mercy, what is the condition applied? You follow what I am doing. Because the relationship between spiritual master and disciple is that disciple has to obey the injunctions of spiritual master, and then spiritual master is responsible for disciple. But if disciple from his own side will not follow, if he is adamant to break the relationship, then what can spiritual master do? So here's the secret. If somebody will simply obey the injunction of spiritual master, serve the spiritual master, then it is spiritual master's responsibility to uplift the disciple. And that is what Chanakya is suggesting. Similar verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto. Devahuti was serving Kardam Muni wholeheartedly. And Kardam Muni said that, see Devahuti, you do not have any spiritual realization, you haven't performed such penances and austerities that I have done, you haven't studied so many scriptures, but simply because you have served me wholeheartedly. So the result will be, whatever spiritual benedictions I have received, you will be sharing it. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that this is the secret of advancing in Krishna consciousness. A disciple serve the spiritual master, the result is he receives all the benedictions from the spiritual master. Similarly, we see in Aruni and other disciples of Dhaumya Rishi. They served Dhaumya Rishi wholeheartedly and got the realized knowledge of the Vedas. Similarly, we see Krishna serving Sandipani Muni, and Sandipani Muni becomes so pleased that he blessed Krishna that you'll be realizing all aspects of Vedic knowledge. So that's the secret. And so time is short, we'll just go ahead. So now Chanakya, so this theme of Guru Bhakti is completed. Now Chanakya is giving the theme of what kind of association we must aspire for and what kind of association we must give it up. Tyajya durjana samsargam bhaja sadhu samagamam guru punya mahoratram smara nitya nityatam. So Chanakya is suggesting give up bad association, take good association, by day and night acquire virtue, and always contemplate what is temporary and what is permanent. Na bipra padodak kardamani na veda shastra dhvani garjatani swaha swadha kara vivarjitani samshantulyani grahanitani. Chanakya is saying, in the house where there is no water to wash the lotus feet of a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, in the house where there is no recitation of Vedic mantras like Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no Swaha, no Swadha, that house is compared with Shamshan. Similar words appear in Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto. Prithu Maharaj is glorifying Chatush Kumar, Vyalalaya Drumavite Shwarik Takhila Sampada. Yat Griha Tirtha Padya Pad Tirtha Vivarjita. Where there is no water for washing the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, that house is compared with Vyalalaya, house of or bill of snakes. Sadhunam darshanam punyam Tirtha bhuta hi sadhavah Kalena phalate tirtham Sadhya sadhu samagamaha. Simply by taking darshan of sadhu, one becomes purified. Punyam. Tirtha bhuta hi sadhava. Sadhu means tirth personified. And kalena phalate tirtham. After so many days you take bath in Ganges, you will become purified. But simply by sadhu sangha, you become immediately purified. Sadhya sadhu samagama. What is the song? A very famous song. What is that line? What is that particular line? हाँ, गंगारा परश पश्चाते पावन दर्शन पवित्र करो यही तो मार्ग. So Ganga means you have to take bath in Ganges. So many days you will take bath, years and years together. Then there is some chance that you will become purified. But darshan pavitra karo yahi to marg. So similar thing Chanakya is quoting. So we were aware of Chanakya's corporate nitis, Rajniti and Vishakanyas, but we are unaware of this phase of Chanakya. Now Chanakya has become even more devotional. Chanakya is saying, my dear Lord Ramachandra, with whom I should compare you? Sometimes Lord is compared with Kalpavriksha. But Chanakya is saying, Lord, I cannot compare you with Kalpavriksha. Why? Because ultimately Kalpavriksha is a vriksha, is a wood. So how I can compare you with Kalpavriksha? Okay, sometimes Lord is compared with Swarnim, gold, Mount Meru. So Chanakya is saying, even if it is Mount Meru, but it is a mountain. How can I compare you with a mountain? So sometimes we compare Lord with Chintamani. But Chanakya is saying, my dear Lord, how can I compare you with Chintamani? Ultimately it is a stone. And sometimes Lord is compared with like Suryavanshi, the descendant of Surya. I cannot compare you with Surya. It's very scorching. Ramachandra. But Chandra has a problem. What? Waning. It has spots and it's prone to wane. How can I compare? Then somebody may say, okay, Gunarnava, the ocean of mercy, the ocean of qualities. But Lord, I cannot compare you with ocean because ocean is ultimately salty. Those who are Brahman initiated, they know that Lord is compared with Kamadeva. In our Gayatri we chant, Lord is compared with Kamadeva. But Chanakya is saying, my dear Lord, we cannot compare you with Kamadeva. Why? Radharani used to compare Krishna with Kamadev. But Lord, we cannot compare you with Kamadev because Kamadev ultimately is Ananga. He lost his body because of Lord Shiva's anger. So then somebody may say, okay, Lord can be compared with Bali because Bali is so benevolent. So Lord is benevolent as Bali. He can give everything. He was about to give his own empire, own abode to Sudama. Rukmini actually stopped Krishna. Okay, don't eat the third handful of chipped rice because you have already given the entire earth kingdom. You have already given entire Swarga. Why you are giving your own adobe? Where will you stay? You don't give. So somebody can give just like Bali. But Chanakya is saying ultimately Bali, but it's a Daitya, descendant of Diti. So how can I compare you, Lord, with Daitya? Then Lord can be compared with Kamadhenu. But Kamadhenu is ultimately a cow. How can you compare with cow? So the conclusion is, my dear Lord, I cannot compare you with anyone. You can only be compared with yourself. Just see what a devotional temperament that Chanakya has. ये शाम श्रीमद यशोदा सुत पद कमले नास्ति भक्तिर नराणाम ये शाम अभीर कन्या प्रिय सुना कथने अनुरक्त रसज्ञ ये शाम श्री कृष्ण लीला ललिता रसा कथा सदरौ नैव कर्णौ धिक्तान 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 कथयति सततं कीर्तनस्थो मृदंगा. So when we chant Hare Krishna, so we are chanting Hare Krishna. What Mridanga is chanting? Diktan, Diktan, Diktan. So we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And what Mridanga is chanting? Diktan, Diktan, Diktan. So Chanakya is explaining what is this Diktan means. Diktan, Diktan, Dikkar hai, Dikkar hai, Dikkar hai. किस पे धिक्कार है? Shame upon those who are without any devotion to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, the darling son of Mother Yashoda. So Mridang's exclamation is, one who does not have devotion to Shri Krishna, उनके जीवन में क्या है? धिक्कार है, धिक्कार है, धिक्कार है, धिक्तान, धिक्तान, धिक्कार है, धिक्कार है. Shame upon those who are without devotion to lotus feet of Shri Krishna, who are not attached to discussing the glories of Srimati Radharani. Abhir Kanya. Abhir means forest dwelling. So Abhir Kanya is Srimati Radharani, who is dwelling in the forest of Vrindavan, and whose ears are not eager to listen the pastimes of Shri Krishna. This is the exclamation of Mridanga's beat at Kirtan. Diktan, Diktan, Dikkar, 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 Dikkar. So Chanakya is decoding the exclamation of Mridanga. It's becoming even more devotional. Haste dan virajitau Shrutipatau Saraswat drohinau Netre sadhu bilokane narahite Padau na tirtham gatau Anyayarjita vitta purnam Udaram garvena tungam shiro. Re jambuk. Mucha Sahasa nicham sunanyam bapu. What is this jambuk? Jambuk is jackal. What jackal eats? Dead body. Jackal is famous for eating dead bodies because lion or tiger hunts whatever is left over, that is consumed by jackal. So jackal is fond of eating dead bodies. So in this word it is said, jackal, you must not eat dead bodies of certain people, otherwise you will become polluted. So jackal is already polluted, but Chanakya is saying, jackal, you don't eat the bodies of certain people who do not do certain things, otherwise you will become contaminated, you will become polluted. And what kind of people are those? Number one, haste dan vivarjitau, dan nahi dete. Immediately leave aside a degraded body of men whose hands have never given in charity. Shruti patau, whose ears have never heeded the voice of learning. Netre sadhu bilokanena rahite, one do not seek sadhu with his eyes. And padau na tirtham gatau, have not used their legs for going to Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri. Anyarjita vitta purna mudaram, and they are filling their belly with anyaya arjita vitta. Anyaya arjita vitta purna mudaram, they are filling their belly with anyaya arjita vittam. And garvena tungam shiro, they head high in vanity. है नहीं, फिर भी घमंड है. So my dear Jambuk, do not go near to that, do not eat the bodies of this kind of people, because otherwise you will become polluted. का चिंता मम जीवने यदि हरि विश्वम्भरो गीयते नो चेत अर्भक जीवनाय जननी स्तन्यम कथम निर्मये इति आलोच्य मुहुर्मुहुः यदुपते लक्ष्मीपते केवलम् त्वत्पदाम्बोज सेवनेन सततं कालो मया नीयते. He's saying, का चिंता मम जीवने यदि हरि विश्वम्भरो गीयते. Hari is called Vishwambar. Vishwambar means is the maintainer of the entire world. If I am singing his glories, का चिंता मम जीवने, why should I be concerned about maintenance of my own sustenance? Or why should be I concerned about my maintenance? And any proof? The proof is Nached arhaka jivanaya janani stanyam katham nirmaya. When a child takes birth, who fills the mother's breast with milk? Krishna is already doing it, Hari is already doing it, so why should I be concerned? Iti aloche muhurmur, I am every time just meditating on this special mercy of the Lord. Jadupate Lakshmipate Kevalam. My only desire is Tvat Padam Bhuja Sevanena Satatam. Satatam Kalo Maya Niyate. Let my entire time be spent in Tvat Padam Bhuja Sevanena, your service. Service to your lotus feet. The question comes, if your entire time will go in service to Radha and Krishna, then who will do politics? Who will write Arthashastra? Who will teach Chandragupta? Who will train Vishakanyas? But this is what Chanakya is telling. Let my entire time be spent in your mercy, your service. So do we have any example in the history? Yes, we have. Yudhishthir Maharaj, his entire time was spent in Krishna consciousness. But the kingdom was so prosperous. Ambrish Maharaj, his entire time was spent in Krishna consciousness. But his kingdom was so prosperous. So if somebody is Krishna conscious, their kingdom will also be very prosperous. So this is what actually the corporate Chanakya, the secret of successful corporate. What all the CEOs must do? They must engage in service to Krishna. And what happened to their corporate? It will flourish. माता चा कमला देवी पिता देवो जनार्दनः दानवा विष्णु भक्तश्च Sadesho Bhuvanatrayam. So one who understands that Lakshmi Devi is my mother, and Janardhan is my father, and all Vishnu Bhaktas are my relatives. The entire, what to say of entire world, all three, like 14 planetary system, three lokas is his home. This is the spirit. And here the spirit to become successful in corporate ladder. Even if you want to secure more opulence than Indra, what one must do? If there's a corporate ladder, you have to go high up to what platform? Indra's platform. If somebody is aspiring for opulence like that of Indra, what he must do? Here's the secret. Swahasta gratita mala, swahasta grasta chandanam, swahasta likitam srotam, srakrasapi shriyam hare. Swahasta gratita mala. If you are aspiring for better position than that of Indra, what one has to do is Swahasta Gratita Mala. Prepare a garland for the deity with one's own hand. Or you can pluck flowers for deity. Or you can do some other service with your own hands for the deity. And what more you can do is Swahasta Grasta Chandanam. Just like during Chandan Yatra we do. With our own hands, what we have to do is prepare sandalwood paste for the deity. And Swahasta Likitam Strotam. You write down the shlokas and memorize them. And then what you'll achieve? Opulence equal to that of Indra. Secret. Last shloka will say. Now in this last shloka, Chanakya is suggesting how to mold one's day. What one must do in the morning, what one must do in the afternoon, and what one must do in the evening. Pratardyuta prasangena madhyane sri prasangataha ratrau chaura prasangena kalo gacchati dhimata. Those who are wise, how they spend their morning? They discuss about Dyuta, gambling. Morning, one must discuss about gambling. Afternoon, one must discuss about discoursing on pastimes of women. Afternoon, one must discuss about women. And Ratrao Chora Prasangena, and absorb the evening hours in Chora Prasangena, discussing about a thief. And this is how intelligent person must spend their entire day. Wise persons spend their day like this. Morning means gambling, afternoon means women, evening means thief. What does it mean? Dyuta Prasangena is Mahabharat. Stri Prasangata is Ramayana. And Chora Prasangena is Krishna book. So this is how intelligent persons must manage their time. So that is the recommendation of Chanakya. So Chanakya was known for his political tactics, but we were unaware of Chanakya's devotional temperament. So there are still few verses, will not go into that. So these are the few verses from Chanakya Niti that we can find out that Chanakya's devotional temperament and his priority, that priority over other political things is Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So time is already up. If someone have any question or comment. Yes, bro. Yeah, actually, what we have seen in television shows, like Chanakya took this vow until and unless that he'll dethrone Nanda and enthrone Chandragupta, he'll not tie his, because opening this knot is the sign of, it's like Chanakya was feeling very disgraceful because this Nanda has uh, disrespected me. So just to take, it's not like revenge, like it's like for the good of public, for the good of people. It was a responsibility that I must dethrone Nanda, who is mad with his opulence, and I have to enthrone Chandragupta. So not tying the knot means it was always reminding him that I have certain responsibilities towards the kingdom. So therefore, till the time uh, Nanda was the king, he actually did not tie. Similarly, we see Draupadi did not tie her hair until unless Dushasana's blood will come, and I'll wash my, I'll use his blood as shampoo. So I'll not tie my hair. So these are certain things, just to give the reminder every moment. This with this example, I would like to suggest like this. Uh, Tukaram Maharaj, I am not Tukaram, I am Sant Tukaram Das, servant of Tukaram. So what Tukaram used to do when he used to do bhajan, we all have experienced feeling sleepy during chanting. How many of you have that experience? Everyone? So what Tukaram used to do is, he used to tie his this shikha with some thread like this on wall. And whenever he feels sleepy, so like this, so immediately he'll get up. So different devotees were using this shikha for different purposes. So, so Prabhupada used to say utility is the principle. So here is the Hare Krishna. So somebody is using it as reminder, somebody is using it for remaining awake during chanting. In Odisha, Bengal, devotees used to use it for, it's a fashion also. So, big shikha. So different purpose is being fulfilled. People ask this, why do you put this shikha, like, outside world? So it is like just like an antenna. It is catching spiritual signals. And why to put this knot? Because shikha means Guru will catch up your shikha and take you to the spiritual world. If there will be no knot, then what will happen? It must slip. Therefore, the knot is being tied. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Prabhu's question is, it's a very wonderful question, that how much we should learn from Chanakya and other Niti Shastras. And is it really important? Yes, it is really important. Because Srila Prabhupada has quoted Chanakya many times. At least he has quoted more than 15 verses. At least. Chanakya has. Another thing is that, like, we may be aspiring for transcendence, but we are living in material world, and we are dealing with materialistic people. Prabhupada used to say that we have to deal with materialistic people just like we are dealing with snakes. We have to be very careful. So the knowledge of Niti Shastras is actually helping us to, it's guiding us that how we should deal with the outside world. But it's not just guiding us on those aspects, it's also guiding us like related to, like, Chanakya has given understanding of how to become a good parent. Prabhupada quoted this. Do you remember that verse? That Chanakya has suggested two verses that how good parenting. Lalayat Panchvarshani, Dash Varshani Tade, and Prapti to Shodash Varshe, Putra Mitra Badachare. So this is good for parents also, this is good for counselors also. And don't we do this? Somebody is coming new to Krishna consciousness. Lalayat Panchvarshani. Up till the point he is not shifted into the voice. Lalayat Panchvarshani. And when he's in voice for next 4 years or next 3 years, Taleb. And prapte to shodash varshe, now he started earning putra mitra badacharit. Don't you do this? So many practical verses. Prabhupada quoted this verse many times that even if a moment past cannot be reclaimed with giving millions of dollars. So many verses Prabhupada has quoted. So this knowledge is good actually. This knowledge of Niti Shastra is good because it reminds us at every moment. Of course, it does not mean that now we are into that only, but it's a support system. It always help us. Chanakya is reminding us of many things. How to eat, at what time to eat, when not to eat, how to sleep, how not to sleep, many things. Simple regulation is teaching. So these are all kind of Niti Shastras, not just Chanakya Niti, different Nitis. So to the extent our acharyas have quoted them, to the extent our acharyas have recommended, to that extent we do not have to become PhD in Chanakya Niti. It's not our goal. We have to become PhD in Krishna consciousness. But to the extent our acharyas has quoted something or inspired us to take to it, to that extent we can, without what we say, trespassing our acharyas, without bypassing them. To the extent they have done it, to that extent we can use it. Not just Chanakya Niti. Somebody was asked, can we quote Ramcharitramanas? This question comes. Now Ramcharitramanas, from side of Tulsi, it's a pure devotional literature. But many times those who are not into proper devotional parampara, so they get misdirected by Ramcharitmanas. And Prabhupada said somewhere that just by reading Ramcharitmanas you cannot become pure devotee. But we still see that Prabhupada has also quoted Ramcharitmanas at a certain point, or quoted Tulsidas at a certain point. So I was asking one devotee that how much we can quote. So anything that which is helping our content, like helping us to accept Krishna consciousness or helping certain points, to that extent we can quote. It's not bad. We are quoting outside world people, like what we say, quotes, Mahatma Gandhi's quotes. We are quoting president's quote. Now day before yesterday, Mr. Modi was in Vrindavan, and he was telling the glories of Harinam. All the devotees, Nand gaon sa gaon nahi. You have seen that? Krishna naam sa naam, something like that. So all devotees are putting on their status because if someone important person has said something, so it becomes important. So to that extent, it does not mean that we are now followers of Mr. Modi, but because he has said something which is lined with our philosophy. Because if Mr. Modi will go to Om Shanti, they'll speak about Om Shanti. if he'll go to Ramakrishna, he'll speak about Ramakrishna. That does not mean that we are follower of Modi. Because if he'll say we are follower of Mr. Modi, then what will happen? We have to follow everything. But here we use Ardha Kukuti Nyaya. Whatever is helpful for us. In Parliament, Mr. Modi is quoted that when there was attack on in northeast temples, in ISKCON temple, he quoted in ISKCON temple, and that was the time when Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj was actually injured, and later on he gave up his body. That particular incident was quoted by Mr. Modi in Parliament. So that clip is very important for us for various reasons. How our preachers are struggling in northeast, and how government is actually concerned about ISKCON devotees. So a single clip, single word said by important people becomes important. So therefore, to that extent we can use. It's not that we are followers of Mr. Modi or we are followers of Chana. We are still the followers of Srila Prabhupada only. We are Rupanuga, we are Prabhupada Anuga. We are not Chanakya Anuga. But certain things, if it is helping us to follow Prabhupada more, then we can use it. We are quoting Bible, we are quoting Quran, whenever it is supporting. Yesterday while coming, there is a bookstore, Christian bookstore. I entered into that bookstore, and first page of Bible, where the creation aspect is being done, God created man in his own image. God wanted to create men like him. The real word is like him. In Genesis it is written. I simply took photograph because it is important for us. Because same quote we find in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. Krishna is saying, my original form is Manusham Tarin, just like a human being. So we quote Bible. Okay, see, there is given Bhagavad Gita, hence proof. Hare Krishna. So whatever is important for us, we just take it. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.
We are very, very, very fortunate. The association of this Kalam Prabhu. Didn't came to know how 1 hour passed. And you want to hear more, but time is limited. And Prabhu is so beautifully quoted. Come, within a. It was amazing to hear so many glories. And I was personally not knowing about Chankaya. You were so emotional. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And very beautifully you have clarified the last that we are just using it. Whatever we use for preaching, we are not Chanakya, we are Loka, at the same time, whatever is required, we are using it. And you have clarified the required time. So let's thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He's coming to Hyderabad and enlightening us for important topics. I am offering those who want to do.